Welcome to the Security by Default podcast, the podcast where firewalls are hot, passwords are long and strong, and cybercriminals are probably listening to. I'm your host, Joseph Carson, ethical hacker, security nerd, and the guy who reads the terms and conditions so you don't have to. Each episode will break down the weird, wild world of cybersecurity, minus the jargon, and plus a few laughs. Whether you're a pro or just here to figure out what the hell zero trust really means, you're in the right place. Let's get secure and have a little fun on the way too. Hi everyone, welcome to the Security by Default podcast that brings clarity to chaos in the world of cybersecurity. I'm your host, Joe Carson, and I'm here to explore what defenders need to do in order to protect and make sure the world is a safer place online, without all the fluff. And I'm really looking forward to today's amazing guest. I've heard him speak many times. So big welcome to Mr. Secretary Harry Coker Jr. Welcome to the episode. I'd like to kind of start off with, let's rewind the clock. How did your journey start into cybersecurity? Where did it begin? Was there a moment in your past that kind of like brought you into the industry, an incident, or even just curiosity? What's your origin? How did you get into the industry?
First off, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak with you and your audience today. And you really captured me when you said you want to bring clarity to chaos because that's where we make our money. Too many people shy away from chaos, the disorder. They get frustrated, don't want to participate. I look at chaos, I look at disruption as opportunities. And so bringing clarity to that chaos is how we make money. And I say make money and accomplish mission objectives.
Absolutely.
So glad to be here. And actually that little soundbite you have, clarity to chaos, is what I need to, if you haven't already trademarked it, I might. Because in some of my mentoring sessions, I tell people, take advantage of that gray space, the ambiguity. There are opportunities there. So now it'll be bring clarity to chaos, courtesy of Joseph Carson. So thank you for that. But for me, rewinding the clock as to how I got into this cyberspace, it was before we called it cyber. You know, I'm old enough where I was operating prior to computers being scalable and available to all of us. And I can remember, frankly, when I was in the Navy, I did not want to use an electric typewriter because it was too advanced for me. And I plugged away, pecking with my fingers. So I avoided computers as they were emerging. But fortunately, within within a year of that revelation of me not wanting to advance with technology, I had the opportunity to go to graduate school, the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California. I asked several of my mentors what I should major in graduate school. And one of them told me, if you want to get ahead in the Navy, you major in computer science. And I'm like, wow, you mean I gotta get used to that electric typewriter, huh? So I went out to the Naval Postgraduate School in Monterey, California in 1985, and graduated 2 years later with my master's degree in computer science. Again, we didn't call it cybersecurity back then. It was information assurance or computer security, all of that. And I'll tell you, one of the classes that I took, and I went into computer science not because I was interested, but because I wanted to advance my career, and that's what I was advised to do.
Absolutely.
So I was leery, and I can recall taking a computer architecture class. And I thought the computer architecture class was going to show me how to design homes as opposed to understanding the inner workings of computers. So that was a challenge for me. But that's how I first got into what we're now calling cybersecurity. Actually, the next two jobs I had out of graduate school were involved with what's now called cybersecurity. One, the first job was what's a part of what's now DISA, or Defense Information Systems Agency, working computer communications right in cyber. And the second job coming out of there was at the Pentagon in the Navy's Space Systems Division. And I remember asking my boss at the time about these satellites because I had never worked satellite systems. But fortuitously, my boss at the time was also a graduate of the Naval Postgraduate School in computer science. And he said, "Hey, Coker, you can just consider satellites computers in the sky, computers in space."
Yep.
And that's what they
Computer
are.
spaceship.
Yeah, and that's what got me deeper into cybersecurity, ensuring
Mhm.
that those spacecraft were safe from intrusion from adversaries. So that was decades ago, and that's how I got started.
Fantastic. I mean, I think for me it was around the same time. I remember, cybersecurity wasn't even a term, and
Yep.
security was the key to the room where the typewriter or the computer was in. That was security. It's evolved quite a lot over the years. If you're looking back at your younger self, what did you think you were going to be doing? If because I had the same. For me, I had a turning point in my when I was at high school, and I was given two options. It was either to go down the path of art or computer science, and for me, that was kind of like those two directions. For the same thing as I think computer science is probably the one that's going to be the better career choice than being an artist. What did your younger self think, or what did you want to be when you grew up at the time?
Growing up, I played a lot of sports: baseball, football, basketball. Did a little wrestling, and I enjoyed it. I did enjoy the competition, but I enjoyed the teamwork as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember maybe 10 years ago, I was visiting with one of my uncles, and he told me, "Boy, I thought you were going to be a professional athlete because that's all I did when I was growing up. It was play sports in and out of school." So that's what he thought. Me, unfortunately, I was so immature. I didn't think about tomorrow. I thought about tonight, but not tomorrow. And so I didn't really have what I'll say as a calling.
Mm-hmm.
But fortunately, I was good enough in math and science where some folks vectored me towards the Naval Academy to get a stronger engineering education, and that led me to other opportunities that I'm grateful for. I'm also grateful for I didn't have a plan in terms of a career path because I'll tell you, I could not have planned it as
Mm-hmm.
well as things have turned out for me. So fortunately, I had people around the corner in different rooms making decisions that impacted my career in such a positive way, again, that I could not have planned for. I never could have imagined
Mm-hmm.
being the executive director of the National Security Agency. I never could have imagined, or never would I have asked to be the National Cyber Director for the United States. I never could have fathomed being Secretary of Commerce for the state of Maryland. So I've just been blessed with opportunities and influential people who made decisions that I was not aware of that benefited me. And then they did make moves that I became aware of that allowed me to have the opportunities that I've had.
Yeah.
Now, if it were strictly up to me, I actually remember when I did decide to go to the Naval Academy out of high school in Kansas.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, that was because my father, a Navy veteran, he bribed me. He said that he would lease me a car for the second semester of my senior year in high school. And I said, sold. I'm there. So I went to the Naval Academy, and I was not familiar with it. I had not visited the academy prior to going there and swearing myself in on induction day.
Mm-hmm.
So that worked out well. My father knew what he was doing, and I'm grateful for that. And then coming out of the Naval Academy, I expected that I would resign my commission as
Mm-hmm.
soon as I could. It's 5 years, but I didn't, and I served 20 years, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Not every day, mind you, but I certainly enjoyed it overall.
Absolutely. It's just brought back a funny moment. I'm just thinking about my own self as well, because I'm doing the same with my son, bribing him with a car.
Okay. Tell him to hold out for more than what I did. Mine was not a fast or a pretty car. I got from A to B, but
We literally had that conversation last week. We were pointing at cars, and he's going, "Is that the type of car?" He's definitely thinking ahead, for
good, good,
sure.
good.
So you've had. I mean, I think it's impressive. You absolutely, along the way is living in the moment, living in now, in the present, and surrounding yourself. But definitely, I always find as well how important mentors are. To really kind of giving you really sound advice and getting good mentors that really make sure that it's the right path is always important. So I think that's a fantastic lesson. One thing I've
And I'll
noticed.
tell you, I
Yep.
am still in touch with my mentor from the Naval Academy. I met him when I was 19 years old, and that's almost 50 years ago. And we are still in a very close and productive relationship.
Always important. It's always important. A lot of the guests are always talking about is make sure you respect kind of and honor the journey as part of it. Is a lot of what I hear. Can you paint us a picture? You're a very important person. You're doing a lot of critical things. A lot of what you're doing for the state of Maryland. What's the day in the life look like being you? If anyone wants to follow the same path, what's a day in the life for you like? Is it always meetings and busy? Do you get time to reflect? Do you get time to study or learn new things? What's your day look like?
Wow. I want to start with where you ended up with that question. Study and reflect and think. My last handful or more of jobs, I have not made enough time to do what I tell myself and the staff I need to do. Read, think, and write. I do not do enough of that. That's my fault, but I need to do more. That reflection is just so important. Yes, I can get a lot done. And it's not all transactional, but I can have a bigger, a wider, a broader, a more important impact if I read, think, write, and just communicate. So that's important, and I have come up short on that time and time again. But day in the life in my this current job, and actually the last two jobs, they're all different. It's always something. Part of that clarity and chaos
Mm-hmm.
that we enjoy. Um, there's always some stuff going on. I'll go with stuff. Last night, I was having dinner with a group of CEOs in Maryland. I wanted to understand from their perspective how to enhance the business environment in our great state. I wanted to hear their specific challenges, but also their more broad perspectives. So that's one key event in the last 24 hours. But during that dinner, when I got up for a moment, I had a note about a business opportunity that did not end up the way that we wanted it to for our state.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ended up having to parallel process multiple things on what actually happened with that business opportunity, and then why it happened, and then could it have been different for us. So processing that while I'm also trying to get feedback from these chief executive officers. And then I'm still within 24 hours. This morning, I was in a virtual meeting with probably 10 other leaders in the state government,
Mm-hmm.
talking about developing a business case for a foundational compute capability so that the state can better leverage some of our assets. So that call was about understanding the business case.
Mm-hmm.
And then, secondly, understanding the resources required to execute that business case. And so we, at a very high level, outlined the path forward to take care of that business case and resources, and picked up a few actions during that call. And then the next thing that I did was participate in the ribbon cutting ceremony for a life sciences company that is expanding right here in Maryland. And I did that with my boss and other folks. And I'll just side note, this company chose Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
It's a startup company, and the CEO and co-founder talked about their struggle in the early stages. And one of the challenges was they were told that they would not get funded unless they moved out west. They wouldn't get funded if they stayed here in Maryland. But the culture was the right fit for him, and he has made it work here in Maryland. And of course, the municipal, county, and state government, and actually federal government, have all helped that company. That was the next event. And then just prior to getting on this call with you, I was able to participate in a smart city interconnected virtual panel, which talked about, amongst other things, the challenges that we have in cyberspace that are amplified the more and more we interconnect. And interconnecting is a great thing, but we also have to be aware of the increased attack surfaces and address that accordingly. And then after our talk, I'll catch a train to New York City and spend the night there and do some work there tonight and tomorrow, and then come back to Baltimore where we are headquartered. Mm-hmm. All that to say, every day is different. Every day has challenges. I talked about that business opportunity that left us. Every day has successes, and that we just participated in a ribbon cutting, and every day has opportunities. Mm-hmm. Talked about that virtual meeting on how we can create a pathway for computational foundation here in the state. So, and then the last part in New York tomorrow, it'll be learning for me, a learning opportunity.
Okay, that's the kind of important feedback loop is when you start, that's
the listening time. And I'll tell you something common between this job and in commerce, economic development, and the last job in cyber. There are so many factors that I cannot control. There are so many factors that I cannot even influence. There is a lot of chaos from different angles, but back to your tagline, the job that I signed up for, the job that I enjoy doing is bringing clarity to the chaos.
Absolutely. We can see the path through it. That's the kind of key is when you can see, and I think some of the things I have to say is, a lot of what you're doing in life that you're sharing with us is really foundational. It's really building that structure in order for success in the future and opportunity. I've been attending the state of Maryland's RSA event, I think for the last 10 years. I'm always impressed every time I hear, from a new startup or, somebody who's key to the community. I always get so impressed, and it's so fantastic. I think one of the big things is that, from your talk that you did at RSA this year is around the important is to go where the talent is. Go with the people who have the knowledge, because some of the things we've talked about is mentors. There's lots of great mentors, there's lots of great people who have lots of experience that are all willing to share and help us on that journey as well. So for me, it's always great to hear some of the great things that the state of Maryland is doing, and really setting up a foundation for a much stronger state in the future.
Indeed. And talk about mentors, and I'll just broaden it out to people in general. I think we can learn from everyone, and every learning moment is not based on a positive experience. Nevertheless, we need to pay attention to that and learn from it. The good, bad, and the ugly. And the other thing is, there's mentors, and then might be role models. We should all realize no thing is perfect. So when we say, this person is a role model, well, there are going to be some shortcomings, but that does not take away from the opportunity to emulate the better qualities of that entity, be it a person or something else.
Absolutely. I find that, I'm fortunate enough I'm a soccer player. I play football quite regularly, and I've been out of action. I think it was the week before we were chatting in RSA, I injured my knee ligament, and I just recently got back. And I'm finding is that, as you're talking about teamwork and talking about mentorship and kind of working together, as I'm getting back, what I've been finding is the team, they know I'm injured and I'm just recovering, but they're kind of shaping the team around to support me and putting me in the right place. So that allows me to recover in a way that's safe and to get back to full recovery. But I'm so dependent on the team filling the gaps where they know that I would have been able to achieve in the past, that they know Joe can't get back quickly in time. Let's cover him as he goes forward. So it's all about the teamwork and making sure that together we makes us stronger. So,
and that's the broader life lesson. The way that the team is rallying around you, putting you in a position of comfort and position to win.
Absolutely. So one thing I always like to know is that there's lots of events over our lifetime that really shapes us, that kind of gives us a lesson. You talked a lot about the successes and the lessons learned, and not everything is always works out, but you learn from that. What's one lesson from the past that really kind of challenged you or shaped you, to really be a leader in cybersecurity today? I've myself had times where it's whether it been in 2007 when Estonia had the big cyber attack, whether it being around other types of incidents throughout. I've learned from those. I remember doing a pen test against a power station, And that was when I learned that I'm no longer a cybersecurity expert. That was when I realized that actually I'm a risk assessor. I
Mhm.
assess risk, and I kind of look through and I see the path. Is there any events that you've had, lessons that really kind of is a memory moment for you that always kind of shapes your kind of decisions?
Yes, there's two in particular, and the more recent one, and it wasn't that it was a while ago, probably 15 years ago. I almost got fired from a job, and I was leading a team that was doing some great work for the nation, and we had something that we did not take advantage of fully. I didn't realize it at the time, but I came in to work one morning. I had, I think, 4 yellow stickies on my computer saying the boss wants to talk to you. And then I got a call, come on up now. And I went up to this conference room, boss's conference room, and there were, I think, 6 or 7 senior executives on the other side of this long table, and the boss was right in the middle. Well, on my side of the table, the wrong side of the table, there was one person, me. So walking in there was challenging, and it became more challenging when we walked through where we came up short. I was asked for my opinion, and I gave my
Mm-hmm.
perspective, and then what pained me the most, frankly, was my boss at the time was a mentor of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and we are still close. And I let her down.
Mm-hmm.
So it pained me that I let down someone that I respected and admired so much.
Mm-hmm.
That went to my core. But left the room, and then shortly thereafter, one of the seniors that was on the other side of that table came to me and said, "You know, the only thing that saved you." Nope. And they said, "Because you didn't blame it on anybody else." And yeah, I didn't. You know, as they say, the buck stops here.
Absolutely.
We my part of my leadership philosophy is the successes are because of the team, and the failure is because of me. And that person came in and said, "That's the only reason I survived, because
Mm-hmm.
I took the hit and didn't come up with excuses other than I didn't do my job." That was part of that. That was a big part of that lesson learned. The
Absolutely.
other, the other part was, in hindsight, I should have adopted one of former President, late President Ronald Reagan used to say, "Trust but verify." I always prefer, strive to delegate
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, but I should never lose sight of my accountability. And when I'm accountable, I need to not forget that. And that means I can delegate. I should trust, but I must verify. And
Absolutely.
that was another one of the shortcomings from that experience that I learned from. And I need to trust but verify in a way that does not give that other person the thought that I do not trust them. I need to make clear to them and others, trust but verify is just foundational. It's not blind trust. It's trust.
It's going back to the clarity.
Yes.
It's being clear and transparent between expectations. And I think you hit definitely a really important note. Is it's about accountability and responsibility. And us as leaders, we have to know that yes, if it stops at us, is that we have to be accountable and responsible for the actions. And I think it's great. Also delegating success, because there's only so much time. We have very limited amount of time. I always say the most valuable thing that we have in this world is time. That's what we have. And the more wiser that we use that time, and the more we can delegate success to other people, which is I've seen it, building people's careers
Yes.
and building happiness. They feel fulfilled from that as well. But you're absolutely right. We had to make sure that it's clear about the expectations and how to measure to make sure that we know when we need to verify what certain things have been achieved and the goals as well.
Yes, indeed, indeed. And something else they say about success and failure: success has many parents. We all want to take credit for the success, and failure is an orphan.
I love that. This is hitting back as well as that. Me and my wife are always looking at our kids, going, "Which one of us was the influence to that?" It's never me, that's for sure.
Right?
So if it's something that to do that's wrong, we all know who to point to.
Yep.
I have a question for you. One of the things is, we've had in the last couple of years the big buzz around AI, and I've seen different governments and different regions around the world taking different approaches. How is AI really changing the playbook with government and also within different states as well? Are they embracing it, and what's the kind of strategy in the playbook with AI within government?
AI is being embraced at different rates in different governments, national and various states. But the smart states are embracing AI because it's here and it's an opportunity to become more efficient and, frankly, in some cases, more effective as well. The challenge is multiple challenges, but the top level, top level challenge is to use AI responsibly.
Absolutely.
And especially when it comes to government provided services and decisions that impact those services, cannot take the human element out of that. I know machine learning and AI is about data and analysis and leading to theoretically better decisions faster. But again, when it comes to providing government services, there's a human element that always needs to be factored in. That's one. Then responsible use of AI. We still need to work through various uh, qualification, certification tests and the like.
Absolutely.
As you know, AI results can be skewed by the data. So put clarity in that chaotic. Make sure we understand what it really is. As they say, bad in, bad out. We got to make sure it's good in and good coming out. So we are embracing AI. It's going to make us, it provides opportunity to make us better and more efficient.
Absolutely.
But we also need to face up to the challenge that artificial intelligence is another industrial revolution when it comes to the workforce and the disruption that artificial intelligence will bring to the workforce. We need to be ethically honest and open about that. And then we need to take a strategic approach to address the vast disruption of the workforce that will happen with artificial intelligence. It's a part of the evolution of technology that's been going on for centuries and will continue to go on. And we have stepped up to the challenges in the past, right? And AI is the next challenging disruption of the workforce in terms of an industrial revolution that we have to address. And we need to do that now.
Absolutely. We need to start. I mean, it's already, it's literally parts of it is already past. We now need to kind of figure out how do we make sure that we embrace it and accelerate it with the accountability and responsibility. It reminds me of, I was part of the working subject matter group for the EU AI Act. And my responsibility was to look at different scenarios and to looking at from a security perspective. And I remember we were doing, one of the working groups was about law enforcement's acceptable use of AI. And it came down to that, the accuracy of the data had to be perfect, is that there was no room for error. There was no room for mistakes. So you had to make sure that accuracy was at the top kind of you, because there's no, if you make a mistake, then you potentially kind of contaminate or kind of any other decisions that model may have used. It brings it up to question. So it was all about, accountability and responsibility. And in AI algorithms, can you, make them, accountable? For the decisions, we as leaders, we can, people can be held accountable, but can an AI algorithm be? And that also kind of raises some of the kind of the ethical side of things. Is that how much do we let loose the AI decisions?
And that's a conundrum for me, and I believe for plenty of entities that are concerned about ethics when it comes to where I was headed. AI and the cycle of kinetic weapons. Do we let artificial intelligence make a decision on whether to shoot or drop a bomb, or harm an individual, take a life? I know some entities are doing that. I don't know that it'll happen here. Again, because that human element has to be there. And then who are you going to hold accountable? That commander that made the decision to go automatic or autonomous with AI and a weapon system, or are you going to hold the algorithm developer accountable? Challenging.
It's a Even I remember being part of the insurance I worked on a project which was all about autonomous shipping, which was very, very interesting, but it kind of delved into a little bit about the vehicle side of things. And it's that question about, vehicles are going to, collide, is which one do you try to, which life and which vehicle do you try to save? And all the data goes through that. And it's a tough decision. I think, algorithms, I don't know if they understand yet, how to make those decisions. I think only humans can make those, but at least for now, until we train the models to be effective. So this moves us into the kind of a quick round fire questions. So a couple of quick ones. What's a favorite movie or TV show or book that you've been binge watching recently? What's your binge watch kind of scenario?
Yeah, right now I'm binge watching White Lotus.
A White Lotus. Oh,
have you seen that, or you heard of that?
I haven't seen it. It's on my to-do list.
Okay.
I have been seeing kind of a lot of the kind of trailers and the previews and stuff, but it's on my list to do.
Yeah, so I just started season 3 over the weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. But I also want to hit a book that I just started reading by retired U.S. Army General Stan McChrystal, and it's a book on character. And I'm enjoying the first few pages, and I shouldn't mislead you and say pages. The first tens of minutes that I've listened to on my audio.
Oh, you've done the audiobooks. That's my go-to. It's just schedule-wise, it's hard to get the physical copy.
Yeah, and when I pick up a book, it's like taking a sleeping pill. So audiobooks work for me. But the relatively recently published book on character by General McChrystal is good for me, because a lot of it is about self-awareness and challenging ourselves. And that's being self-aware.
You've added the book to my list.
Yeah.
So I've got a few. It's on my to-do list. That's definitely now on the top of the list. One I'm kind of in the process of doing is The Power of Now, which is a book that I've been recommended to read, which I haven't yet. So it's one that I'm kind of working towards. So another one, favorite cybersecurity buzzword or term. What's the thing that kind of gets you excited? What term is out there that's kind of gets you all excited?
Well, a term that I'm transitioning to now. I'm transitioning from cybersecurity to cyber resilience.
Fantastic.
Because we're not going to stop every attempted compromise in cyberspace. We're not. Why? Because humans are involved, and humans are the weak point. The data shows that. So we're going to have it. The challenge is, make it tough. Tough to be compromised, but also be able to operate through and or recover from these compromises. They're going to happen. So cyber resilience, it's more than a term for me now. I have to make it a point of emphasis going forward.
No, absolutely. It's a thing for me. I've had these different transitions. It was like maybe 10 years ago when I had that with the power station, I realized I'm not cybersecurity. I'm cyber risk. It's all about understanding how can I reduce the risk to organizations and critical infrastructure. And absolutely, you're right. The last couple, 5 years of things like ransomware and the damage it's caused, it's about how can you recover quickly without, having an impact or keeping that impact as minimal as possible. So resiliency is it's what makes us, keep moving forward. And that's kind of, I think, that the important part. And it's the same, for me, injury in football, it didn't stop me. It just showed me kind of how to take care of myself more and to prepare, the recovery phase. And some injuries take longer to recover from than others. So absolutely great advice. Getting up to the end of the episode, we're coming to the closing. One thing that kind of, we have very busy days and schedules. What do you do to unplug? Because absolutely, we live in a world of chaos, and we're always kind of looking through to get the visibility about how to make things kind of stable and predictable. What's the thing that you do to unplug? How to get the rest and recover?
Yeah, I enjoy scotch and cigars,
which is what we were doing the last time.
Yes, indeed. I wasn't going to say it, but you brought it up. So yes, scotch and cigars, and look what it's led us to. So that paid off. I'm a single malt snob, and I love Cuban, Dominican, and Nicaraguan cigars. So that's one way of relaxing, scotch and cigars. And by the way, I don't drink or smoke with people whose company I don't enjoy. So that makes it
very wise to do, because it makes it more relaxing.
Yes,
you do it with people you enjoy.
Indeed. And two other quick things. I enjoy baseball. I live within walking distance of the Baltimore Orioles home ballpark, Camden Yards. So it is a 27-minute walk, and I have a 29-game package. So I get to see the Orioles when I'm able to break away. And then the last thing that I'll mention that I enjoy, and I like to watch it when I'm relaxing, is football. And I'm not talking about American football. I'm talking about real football with no pads and no helmets. I am a fan of football. I'm addicted. Yeah, I'm addicted to English Premier League. And my oldest brother is a Chelsea fan.
Ooh, I did meet your brother last time.
Yeah. Well, that's the one. That one is a Liverpool fan.
So he's a Liverpool fan. Okay.
No, he's the one right below me. He's a Liverpool fan, so he's nonstop chatter right now. He's always singing "You'll Never Walk Alone."
Oh, wow.
And then my baby brother's a Brighton fan, and I am a West Ham United fan.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm a old school retro Man United fan, so I've been having horrible few years. That's when you talk about resiliency.
Yes, indeed.
So it's been fantastic having you on the show. I've really enjoyed talking with you, and hopefully we get to catch up again. Cigars and whiskey at some point in the near future. My favorite is the Allberg.
Yes,
I like it with the peaty smoky.
The peaty stuff. All right, Lagavulin too. Don't forget Lagavulin.
Absolutely. So for it's been fantastic. I really enjoy your advice is going to definitely make a difference for many people in the industry. I think really, for those who are looking to get into leadership or really shape their careers and get more mentors, thank you for taking the time today. I do have one dad joke to add to the end of this. So, which is, why did AI get locked out of the network? It kept missing the password was, I am not a robot.
Okay.
So thank you for taking the time. So for everyone, an awesome guest, Mr. Secretary Harry Coker, joining us to give us kind of his journey in this industry and really fantastic advice. So for everyone, tune in every 2 weeks for the Security by Default podcast. We're really here to bring clarity to chaos and really make security available for everyone. Everyone should be entitled. Everyone should get it. It shouldn't be for the few. It should be for everyone in the world. So thank you. Stay safe and take care.
Thank you all. Take care, John.
Well, that's a wrap on this episode of the Security by Default podcast, where the only thing we leave unpatched is our sense of humor. I've been your host, Joseph Carson, reminding you to update your software and rotate your passwords. Subscribe, share, and review the podcast. And please stay safe, stay weird, and we'll catch you next time.